النجم جيريمي آيرونز في الإف بي إم في لقاء خاص بميديا من هنا من مراكش. هو واحد من أسياد التشخيص في العالم، حاز على الأوسكار في العام 91 عن فيلم ريفرس اوف فورتون والإيمي والجولدن جلوب وغيرها من جوائز. هو رجل مسرح وهو رجل تلفزيون ورجل إذاعة، وهو نجم النجوم في السينما بتجارب كثيرة تعد بالعشرات. يعرف المغرب ويعرف مراكش ويعرف مهرجان مراكش، وسبق وصور في فاس وفي الصويرة. كبير من كبار التشخيص في العالم في الإف بي إم، الأستاذ جيريمي آيرونز في الإف بي إم من هنا من مراكش لنعبر. مستر جيريمي آيرونز.
جيريمي آيرونز، سعيد باستضافتك في الإف بي إم. هو شرف كبير نستقبل واحد كبير من قيمتك في هذا الموعد ديال الاختصاص في المغرب. مرحبا بك.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Wonderful to be in Marrakesh and to be back here because after COVID, after everything, and things are back to normal.
كنتي هنا في مراكش وفي مهرجانها اللي كتعرفوا مزيان في 2003، ورجعتي في ديسمبر 2014 وتخصص ليك تكريم كبير. دابا من بعد 8 سنين كترجع لمراكش باش تعطي ماستر كلاس.
For your rich career, your long career in Marrakesh, and now 8 years.
مهرجان كتعرفوا مزيان، ونبغي بداية جيريمي آيرونز نسول كيفاش كتشوف التطور ديال هذا الموعد الدولي اللي كتستقبلوا مراكش وأرض مراكش.
A festival that you know, how do you feel the evolution of this?
I think now it's far more centered and focused on young filmmakers. There's a section for first, second-time filmmakers, and there are master classes that we never used to have, and what it means is it's encouraging the film business in Africa, North Africa, Southern Africa, and around the Mediterranean, and I think the Middle East. That is very important because to keep the film business solvent, we need always to be encouraging new people into the business, young people who have their own perception of the world. And when I first came here, it was more a showcase for, Mediterranean movies, but also for American and English movies, which I think is not so important. Marrakesh should be about the filmmakers here and encouraging them, and it's changed in that way, which I think is a very good direction of change.
Cher Jérémie Áyronz, vous incarnez la grande tradition des acteurs anglais pour qui le talent n'a pas de frontières. On pourrait parler de vous pendant des heures. C'est donc avec un immense honneur que je vous remercie d'accueillir avec moi ce soir un homme, oserais-je dire, anobli par son seul talent, Sir Jérémie Áyronz.
Mesdames et messieurs, je vous demande de faire un triomphe à
Jérémie Áyronz.
I'm very grateful to His Royal Highness Prince Moulay Rashid, and I'm especially honoured to be the subject of tonight's ceremony. Thank you for tonight.
Thank you.
dans le cadre de son hommage. Allez voir ou revoir dans les salles Faux Semblants de David Cronenberg, Le Mystère Van Bulow de spectateurs. Il est temps de...
We are in Morocco before talking about you.
ومادام كنتكلموا على المغرب، وقبل ما نمشي نتحدث معك على مسارك، نبغي نذكر بان علاقتك بالمغرب ما مرتبطاش فقط بالمهرجان ديال مراكش، بالعكس علاقتك بالمغرب طويله وقديمه وماشي جديده.
So coming here in Morocco is not foreign for you, it's not strange for you.
No, I feel to a certain extent coming home, it's a place that I learned to love. We shot in Ouarzazate, we shot here, Marrakesh, in Fez, in Essaouira. So there's a wonderful feeling of returning, coming back here, and re-meeting my Moroccan friends and other international people who've flown in for the...
And in a different experiences with Claude Lelouch, Ridley Scott.
Yes, very different. Ridley Scott in the middle of the desert playing Crusaders and very hot, very dusty. Fez, of course, a city, probably my favorite city, I think, in Morocco, in that it's really old and unchanged in many ways. And when I travel, I love to find the indigenous, the real heart of a nation. And I feel with the architecture, I'm very attracted to Fez.
نمشي شويه لمسارك. فيلم من ضمن الافلام اللي بدعتي فيها بحال ميونخ دو ايج اوف وور، حافة الحرب.
I believe the name Paul von Hartmann is known to you.
Yes, sir. We were at Oxford together.
He has a document in his possession. We'd like you to go to Munich tomorrow and get the document.
It'll be an act of espionage on foreign soil.
Men and women of Britain and the Empire. As long as war is not begun, there is always hope.
Really good to see you again. Was willst du von mir?
Wir sind die letzte Hoffnung, um Hitler zu stoppen.
Ist ein wahrer Plan für Europa.
Was ist hier los?
What's happened to you?
I have to do it!
You cannot play poker with a gangster without having some cards up one's sleeve.
في فترة سابقة كنا نلقاو شريط بحال هذا في القاعات السينمائية، ولكن في زماننا الحالي غنشوفوه في نتفليكس. ما كيجيكش هذا الأمر غريب شي شوية جيريمي آيرونز؟
What do you make of that shift?
Well, it's all part of the life we seem to be being encouraged to lead, which is to have things easy. And it's easy to watch at home on a screen. Personally, I think there is nothing quite like seeing a film in a full cinema on a big screen with that surround sound. That's an extraordinary experience. I think sharing things, we share things in the mosque, in the church, and cinema is no different. When we get together and watch together a story, I think it's a more valuable experience, a more, if the cinema is good, a more an experience which is likely to change you more as a person than watching at home on a television screen. But times change, and now we have all these streaming channels. We have so much product that can be watched. And I think that is good for the business. There is certainly an enormous amount being made of a certain quality.
ولكن هذا الأمر كيضرب المعاقل ديال السينما اللي هي القاعات.
It's not good for cinema. But so I think we'll have less cinemas. The experience will be made more, they will have to make the experience more exciting. to encourage people to go to the cinema rather than staying watching at home. It's a battle.
It was a name that sounded so sweet, so seductive. Synonymous with worth, style, power. But that name was a curse too.
I've been a Gucci all my life.
Your name is in the history books.
Paolo, you are Gucci, you need to dress the part.
It's chic.
Gucci took out the trash.
You're my family.
So am I.
You picked a real firecracker.
She's a handful.
Bravo. I don't consider myself to be a particularly ethical person, but I am fair.
Can you keep a secret?
Father, son, and house of Gucci.
نبغي نتكلم معك ايضا على فيلم هاوس اوف غوتشي ريدلي سكوت. ما كتشوفش معايا بان هذا الفيلم هو بمثابه صيغه معاصره للتراجيديا الشكسبيريه؟ هذه القرايه قريبه او بعيده من الصواب في نظرك جيريمي آيرونز؟
version of a Shakespearean tragedy, we can say it?
Yes, I think it is. I think, you know, they say there are only 8 stories in the world. And you look at that story of that great family, that great, you know, and the machinations within it. I think it's very Shakespearean. I was, you know, and the performances are very big. I mean, Lady Gaga gives a big performance. Al Pacino gives a big performance. Jared Leto, big performance. And I think that was what Ridley wanted. You know, Gucci is a big brand. The buckles are big. The jewelry is big. The shoulders are, and the fabrics are big. And I think he wanted to mirror that in the way he told the story of this big Italian family.
And
وفي هاد التراجيديا جيريمي آيرونز فين يمكن لك تصنف شخصية رودولفو غوتشي اللي لعبتي؟ بروفايل هاد الشخصية.
Well,
the profile of this character.
Rodolfo was a bit old-fashioned, a bit cut off from the way society was changing, was not likely to change himself, very controlling of his son, who eventually took wing thanks to Lady Gaga's character, and who carried the company into the 21st century. And Rodolfo was not the man to do that. He was very conservative, fairly shy, retiring man, a man who had been a film actor, a film star, as his wife had been. His wife was the bigger star, and he, I think, she had died, and he worshipped her memory and spent much of his leisure hours making a documentary, putting all her film clips together to make a documentary of her life, rather as some people might leaf through a family photograph album looking at the past. He was backward-looking, not forward-looking.
جيريمي آيرونز، السؤال غيحمل بالتأكيد جواب غيفيد سينمائيين شباب عندنا في المغرب وفي إفريقيا. منين كتلعب أدوارك وكتجسد شخصية حقيقية مثلا، واش كتحس بمسؤولية أكبر لنقل جزء من الحقيقة كومبرومايز؟
Yes, it's always a compromise. I mean, all film is a compromise. I have to compromise between what I know about the real Rodolfo, which is not a lot, and what the film needs from the character of Rodolfo. And you compromise, you try to be as honest as you can and as true as you can to the original character. But that's no different from if you were doing a fiction that was based on a book. Those, translations from a novel to the screen often change considerably because a novel takes 12 hours to read, a film is 2 hours, so things have to change. And as an actor, you try and be as faithful as you can to the character in the book, knowing that things have to be a little different because we have to tell the story faster on the screen. So I'm used to that sort of compromise.
And the Oscar goes to Jeremy Irons for the visual effects.
This is great. Thank you, the Academy. And thank you, everybody who's wished me well for this. Thank you all.
وفي مسار غني بحال ديالك جيريمي آيرونز، من بعد كل هذه الافلام الاوسكار وكل الجوائز الاخرى والبدايات في المسرح، احنا في 2022 نبغيو نعرفوا كيفاش نجم بحالك كيختار يلعب فيلم جديد او يمر من الكاستينغ باش يوقع عليه الاختيار ويلعب دور من الادوار. كيفاش كتتم الامور معك كنجم؟
Somebody rings up one of my people and says, would he like to read this script? That hasn't changed. It's always been like that. Because I'm now older, and I've always had other things that I love to do, such as building and farming and gardening and driving my horses and sailing boats. So there's much I love to do in life. And as you get older, you realize that there's less and less time ahead of you. And so I suppose I get even fussier about what films I go away to do. They have to really catch my heart, catch my imagination before I do it.
وجوابك يقدر يزيد يحفزني باش نسأل إمتى غنشوفوا تصوير مشروع جديد فيه النجم جيريمي آيرونز في المغرب؟
Next shot in Morocco.
I don't know. Maybe from this week I will have met someone who would have thought, maybe I'll...
In Fes.
Yes. Maybe we should make that here with him.
جيريمي آيرونز، نبغي نعطيك 3 ديال الأسماء الأشخاص أو أمكنة ونبغي نسمع تعليقك وبالطبع غتكون البداية مع ريدلي سكوت.
Well, Ridley is an extremely experienced filmmaker. He's also a painter, so he has a wonderful visual image. And you see that on the screen. I mean, he's really interested in picture. And he's also interested in story. He works with a crew that he knows really well, that he's made many films with, and so it's very efficient. You shoot very quickly. He always likes to have around at least 4 cameras, sometimes 8, which is wonderful for the actor because it means he doesn't have to redo from different angles the same thing. It's all caught in one. So really experienced. I think his best work is some of the greatest filming made.
الاسم الثاني ليدي غاغا.
Lady Gaga is extraordinary. She's a very normal person, despite how she is shown in the public, because she loves to create fantasies. But at base, she's a very normal person from New Jersey. Very humble, very easy to work with, a lot of fun. She likes to party. It was a great experience to work with her and see somebody who was, and who's a very pure performer. I remember watching her when she sang at Joe Biden's presidential election, and she was quite nervous, and she sang absolutely beautifully, moved me to tears. So she's in touch with her inner self as an actress, as a singer, which is wonderful, because sometimes you can be diverted by all the pomp and glamour and all of that of it, but she's still in touch with that.
والاسم الثالث ماشي الشخص وإنما الأرض هي أرض المغرب. اسم المغرب شنو كيوحي لك؟
Morocco, like that.
What inspires me about Morocco? Well, the weather I love, the people I find very friendly and with a great sense of humour, which I love, welcoming, cooking good food, and of course when you're staying at such a glorious hotel like the Mamounia, which is, you know, it's a sort of a heaven, a haven. But Morocco, I think, well, it's a place I'm always happy to come back to.
خصوصا هذا المهرجان، المجهودات الكبيرة اللي تعملات واللي خلاته يكون رائد إفريقيا وعربيا.
Sure. No, it's wonderful, the fact that the Crown Prince, that he backs the festival, and that he, you know, backs the arts within the community. That is so important.
جيريمي آيرونز في آخر هذا الإف بي إم الخاص من مراكش كيشرفني نهديك القبعة أو الكاسكات الخاصة بالإف بي إم. شرف كبير نسلمها ليك.
Very nice. Very nice. Excellent. There we are.
It's a young man.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Jim.
It's a great pleasure.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to be here. It's a huge honor to be asked back to Marrakesh.
أتشرف بحضوري في المهرجان الدولي للسينما بمراكش. لقد جئت لدورة قديمة في 2001 على ما أظن، وأنا جد سعيد ولي شرف كبير أن أراه تحت ضوء جديد، وكذلك أنه يقدم الكثير من الدعم ويشجع الطاقات الشابة والجمهور الشاب، وهذا شيء جميل.
Young filmmakers, young audiences, and encouraging them, because they are our future.